settle down. Settle down on me. Selah. The word Selah is in the Bible a lot. It is in there 74 times. 71 times it's found in the Psalms, and 3 times it's found in Habakkuk chapter 3. And so I've been studying Psalms 46 this week, and it's in there 3 times. And then I learned something new about the word Selah. And so I wanted to share that with you because it was exciting to me. So, hey, it's Candy. Welcome to the shed. So I'm going to pull out my little white board with my little dry erase markers and pretend like I'm a teacher. Whenever something is exciting to me, I want to share it with you because it may be exciting to you and help unpack your understanding of when you see the word Selah found throughout the Psalms. Now, the Psalms are either Psalms of lament or Psalms of praise. The Psalms were Israel's songbook, their prayer book. It is full of rich, poetic, beautiful, tranquil, pouring out. Like, it is just the place that my soul loves to go occasionally, and quite a lot occasionally. So yeah, let's look at what I learned about Selah. And I want to start out by giving a shout out to another channel that I have recently discovered, and that is where I learned this. I'm not sure what her name is, but she does wonderful teachings. Her channel is called Chosen and Cherished. And so this is where I followed along with her. She went through Selah. She looked on Logos and she pulled some things in that really resonated with me, because as somebody who dabbles in music a little bit, it just kind of settled in there and it was exciting. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. I'm so bad at being a YouTube star. I will film something crooked, cockeyed, with my head cut off or whatever. So I'm just going to have fun with this and hope that y'all enjoy it. So the word Selah is, let me write this down. Selah. S-E-L-A-H. You will find this in the Psalms at the end of certain phrases or lines or sections. And it is in the Bible 74 times. It is 71 in the Psalms and 3 in Habakkuk. And so Selah has a, what I would call like a textured layering effect on whatever it is that it's connected to. So it will be something that causes a person, make this short, sweet, and simple as I can. So if you like to look up in the Strongs and get these definitions, the number will be 55, 42, and 5541. So if you want to get the bulk of looking that up, and if you are privileged to have the Logos subscription or whatever, I don't. I have tried it with the free version on the computer. It is absolutely jam-packed, so full of stuff that it's almost mind-boggling and hard to get to learning where everything is. But they have all kinds of teachings and all, if you are one to do that kind of thing. I don't have it, but I was so proud to have learned from Chosen and Cherished, and got to watch her video, and she walked through how she went through Logos and got these definitions. And so if you look at the root word, which will be under this, you will find the word way. And if you look on into it a little bit more, you will find value. And if you look in also 5543 as well, you will find a connection to weight. But if you look in 5542 here, you will find to lift up and to exalt. Okay, I am somewhat of a person who dabbles in music a little bit. I started learning piano very late in life. Same thing I do with a lot of things. I'm late to the party. But what little bit that I know on the piano brought this word Selah compared to the teaching that I learned under the Chosen and Cherished YouTube channel. It brought it to life for me. And so when it says to lift up, to exalt, when it says to weigh or to balance, when it says valued, when it says to make light of or toss aside, when it says these things, you think of them in musical terms because the Psalms were sung. They were not just merely just read, they were sung. They were prayed. They were a part of their music and their worship during that time that they were written. So this textured layering meaning, coming together like a tapestry or a symphony or something that would be like a grand layering of paint in an artist's masterpiece. And when you think of all these things, you think of the term that it is to make light of, or to bring to a pause, to toss aside, to weigh, to show itself as pointing the person to lean into what is being written or said or sung or prayed. And then you think of me, I got to thinking of how whenever I play the piano and I'm using my right foot to mash the pedal that is down, and it will cause that music to like sustain there, to carry that sound out. And so in the music, it brings like the Selah, brings like this pause or this effect that would cause the person who is paying attention to it to like say, hey, what is this? What was just said? What was just sung? What was just prayed? And then whenever I reflected what these selahs are attached to and how that it points me to look and to weigh and to size up what is being said with connection to what is going on in my soul, in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, and to draw me to linger there in that moment and rest there in that moment and listen and attentively look to and like just, oh Lord, tarry there in that moment. And sometimes this word, Selah, means repeat. And so I don't know how y'all do it where y'all from, but sometimes our choir leader at church, she will do this right here. That means we're going to sing that part again. And so I get to thinking about what I was reading in Psalms 46 and the Selahs, the moments that it tells you to pause right here and carefully reflect and to lean into who God is, because he's brought out first in that psalm. He is told to be my there, and also because he's the same God, my refuge and my fortress and my strength, and I'm to exalt him and to lift him up. And whenever my mind just replays that, and I'm lingering there in that place with that resonating in the atmosphere, with that sound of those words of truth, the word, Jesus, John 1, the word became flesh. That's Jesus. And he is that mighty, awesome, strong tower whose name is a place that we run into, not because we know the word Jesus in English, we call him Jesus, but because we know who Jehovah Rapha is, the Lord God that healeth me, because we know who Jehovah Jireh is, the God who provides, we know who Jehovah Nissi is, our banner, and we know when we know who he is in all these many layers that he is, because when you put music together, you've got layering effect that happens and goes on, and then you have things that like start out light and then they just build up, and so you build that up and you build God up on the inside of you during these selahs, during these pauses, during these spaces for your faith to grow and breathe, and just like, ooh, just sink down in that. When you think of sinking down in that and just resting in that, and just like when it's real cold and you go outside and you find a spot where there's nothing but sunlight, and you go and you let that light shine on your face, and it's so warm and it warms up your bones on a cold day. There is nothing more beautiful than coming into that place, into that spiritual pause and resting place where you can be still and know that he is God. And he is all that he'll ever be. He's the breath of heaven, the heartbeat of heaven. He is amazing, and he is God, and he is always God. At all times, in all places, throughout all the ages, past, present, and future, eternally, 100%, all that he'll ever be, in every way, shape, form, or fashion. Who he is never diminishes. It never slacks. It never lackadaisies. It never weakens. He is always. You ever thought about a well-oiled machine and how sometimes the well-oiled machine can get crud and rust and grime and grit inside those cogs that's turning, and then it begins to like squeak or slow down, or even just like come to this halt, stop this, and then it has to be worked on. Our God is not like that. He is constant. He is always there. He is forever God, in the fullness, in the max, in the complete, full, awesome capacity that he is. He is always that. He never weakens or lightens or slows down or he is always God. We can calm down and be still and know that he is God. And so I wanted to share that a little bit about Selah with you today. How that word, when you see it, although these terms and these phrases can carry various meanings, it still is not really fully, completely, 100% understood. But I'm so thankful for those scholars and theologians and people who study this out and then bring it out and teach it, because then I get to share it with somebody who might land here, who may never hear them, but they might hear it from me. And so I kind of borrowed this thought process, and it was so good to me that I had to just pause and think about it for a while, and I just had to let that just settle on my soul. Sweet Jesus, settle down on me, settle on my soul. Sweet Jesus, settle down on me. Settle down on me.